Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am in Ezulwini, Eswatini. Eswatini was formerly known as Swaziland. For me now, here it is in the afternoon. So I know I haven't made a video in a long time, but that is because just okay, I don't even have a good reason. But I'm back. I'm making a video now. Also, thank you for those people who have responded to some of my videos. Of course, some of the comments you will not see on the videos because they are hidden, because I have filters on my comments, because any comments that, with foul language or inappropriate kind of language is hidden. But I have responded to those people, and as usual, I am always polite because that's how I was brought up. But I still appreciate, doesn't matter how rude you are or unsophisticated your response is, it's fine, at least there's a response. And I've noticed that my biggest responses come from my Jacinda Ardern videos. So I'm going to make a lot of videos about her because I need people to comment on my videos and to respond. And I think I see people love to stand up for her. So I'll be digging more into whatever she does, and I'll be doing more of that. Because apparently, as my friend who is doing very well on YouTube told me, this is how you have to do it when you start. So, but today I'm not doing Jacinda Ardern. I want to do topics that that I've just been observing for the past few months, just because for those who don't know what I'm doing, please go and look at my introduction video so that you know why I'm sitting in my car, well, my husband's car, and doing this video, why I don't have fantastic lighting, I don't have a fantastic mic and all these things. You go and look at that video and then you'll know where I am. And you will know that my channel is all about the content. Okay? Right, so the first thing I want to talk about is how Christianity and Islam have stripped Africa from its culture. Okay, now why I want to address this is because just traveling through Africa, I've noticed, I mean, this has always been there, but it never came to my attention until we were in Malawi hiking, and then we got to one of these small villages, and there was a poster saying that women must cover their knees to respect local sensitivities. So tourists who come there, they must make sure their knees are covered. And then I thought that is very strange because Africans don't wear clothes. Well, now they do. But our culture, because please remember I'm African, our ancestors never wore clothes. They would wear maybe a loincloth and a lot of accessories, feathers and beads, etc. But they were always topless. Backside was always hanging out, stomach hanging out, only a little loincloth in front of the private parts. So where does this cover your knees to respect local sensitivity comes from? Then I started to look around, which is weird because this is something I should have noticed like 50 years ago. So it's strange that I only noticed it now. But anyway, it's never too late. I was thinking, where does this come from? Of course, it comes from colonialism. Because when you look at African people, if you're not following your indigenous culture or religion or way of life, you are either following a Christian lifestyle or an Islamic lifestyle. And the reason you do this is because most of Africa was either colonized by the white Christians who came over here, thumped us over the head with the Bible, and told us you must wear clothes. And to this day, this is now what we do. And it has become the norm that now even Africans, when they see their own ancestors or their own tribes who are not Christians, who are still following the traditional dress code, they have an issue with them. Why is her breast hanging out? But this is the culture. The bra, the brassiere, is a white thing. So if you are an African woman wearing a bra, you are culturally appropriating, because Africans don't wear bras. We're supposed to be naked, topless. The other thing is, the other side of this would be the Islamic religion that also stripped Africans from their original culture. Because when I was in Tanzania, you can see the three definite differences, because you have the Muslims, you have the Christians, and then you have those who still follow traditional cultures. The Muslim women there and men will wear all the Muslim, like the Arabic style, scarf, cover the face. Some of them cover their face, but that is not African tradition. That is Arab culture. So which then means that those Africans have been stripped of their African culture and tradition, because they are following Arabic traditions. Same with those who are Christians. The ones who are Christians are all wearing Western clothes, and they follow, the way they live, their lifestyle is all very Westernized. That's because they follow Christian traditions, which means they've been stripped of their African culture. So I just find this very interesting, that I wasn't even that aware of it. But this is what it is. How many of us Africans really follow our own African traditions? A very small minority. And this is because we have been indoctrinated mainly by Christianity and Islam. Okay, so next topic is polygamy and a woman's role in it. Now, the reason I want to cover this is because now, when I was in South Africa, I noticed that a lot of women were up in arms about this, because in South Africa, polygamy is allowed for certain sects in the country, like Muslims are allowed to practice polygamy, and indigenous and traditional cultures. Of course, Christianity is not allowed because it goes against the Christianity. Okay, but so I was speaking to a few women, and they were really up in arms about this. Like, yeah, why are men allowed to do all this? Why can they have indulge in polygamy, and women are, and it's degrading and it's not fair and all this. So what I want to talk about this is, now I want to talk about polygamy and also infidelity. Because also with infidelity, there's always this thing, in both polygamy and infidelity, there's always this thing that, yes, men are so bad, they cheat on their wives with other women, and then also why can they have more than one wife, and blah 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 blah. So what I noticed is when women talk like this, they always talk about men, like men cheat on their wives, blah 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 blah, men, and then they talk about men can have more than one wife, and it's not fair. Now, what I want to do is take men out of the equation, because we all already know a man who cheats is a dog. This we know. The other thing is, we all already know, and we all agree that yes, only men are allowed to be in to have to be in polygamous relationships. Okay, or who can initiate it. Okay, right. So I don't even think that's the right way to say it, but anyway, you know what I mean. Put that aside. Put men, men, out of this equation. Let's focus only on women. What role do they play in polygamy and in infidelity? Because somehow, as women, we don't address this issue. Because let me start with polygamy. In any kind, because polygamy is just a marriage, right? But a marriage where a man can have as many wives as he wants. But we know in 2021, in most countries, if not all countries, marriage has to be consensual. A man cannot force a woman into marriage. He has to propose and she has to accept. So that means a man can only have more than one wife if women consent to that. Because if you think about it, if a man is already married, before he can marry another woman, he has to tell his first wife. Because in most of the laws that I looked at, the first wife has to have knowledge of it. So he has to go and say, Mary, I want to marry Samantha. And then you know what Mary can say? She can say, no. Right? Of course, he can completely ignore Mary and still go and marry Samantha. But then you know what Mary can do if he does that? She can divorce him. She does not have to stay in that marriage. She has the power of leaving him. Right? So that's Mary's story. So you see, it's got nothing to do with the man. It's the woman's role. What is her role in contributing to this polygamous marriage? She can say, no, you cannot take another wife. And if he does, she can leave him. And when she leaves him, he's obviously not in a polygamous marriage because he only has one wife now. Mathematics, right? As for Samantha, who is the other woman, he has to tell Samantha, I am married, but I want you also as my wife. And you know what Samantha can say? She can say, no. Isn't it? Right? Because Samantha has her own mouth and her own feelings, and she can make her own decisions. So she has the choice. She can say no. Of course, if Samantha says yes, why are we blaming him? It's up to Samantha to decide. So why is Samantha not also being seen as the bad person and not just him? Samantha has the power of saying no. Right? So you see where I'm going with this. So women must also take responsibility for their role in polygamy. The man is already married. Why are you saying yes to a man who's already married? Okay, maybe he lied. You don't know he's married. This happens. So then you say yes. But you know, it's modern times now. Before you get married, you can go and find out whether he's married. Okay, And so the same would apply to infidelity, to cheating. Because when a man is married and he approaches another woman to be in a relationship with him, he has to ask. He cannot just grab her and have sex with her. He has to ask. And she has to consent. She has to give consent. And of course, again, she has the power of saying, no, you are married. So if she doesn't do that, she is as much to be blamed as he is. As much to be blamed. If not more, because she has the power. Because we must remember, men have opportunities, but women have options and choices. So he sees the opportunity, he's going to go for it. She has the choice and the option to say yes or no. So sometimes we have to consider that. What is a woman's role in polygamy and in infidelity? But anyway, I would love to hear your comments concerning this, right? Last thing, pregnancy prevention. Again, we all know, or we should know, that a woman gets pregnant because it's a man's sperm that causes the pregnancy. We know that. And we know that a lot of men do not take responsibility. They just want to hit and run. Yes, we have to blame them. We can blame them. But then on the other hand, we should also take responsibility for our own actions. A woman, and I'm not talking about rape or coercion, I'm talking about when it's consensual. Every woman who has consensual sex should know and must know that if she is not on birth control, it is going to lead to pregnancy. This is a no-brainer. Let me stress again, and I'm talking about consensual sex, not rape or coerced sex. I'm talking about consensual. So as much as we want to blame men in cases where women are forced to have abortions, etc., a woman also has a role in that when it's consensual. And her role is, if you're going to open sesame, you must be willing to bear the consequences. That's just the reality of it. Okay, so I wanted to cover these 3 topics because these are just things that were on my mind, that I thought interesting to discuss. Because, I like to discuss controversial subjects. Whether I agree with most of the things I say or don't say, that's another issue. For me is I want to bring up topics so that we can discuss it. Obviously, not nobody, 1 or 2 people are willing to discuss these things with me. Nobody cares, but which is okay, because while I'm alive, nobody cares. But I know the minute I die, everybody will be coming to my channel, because this is how people are. When you are alive, you have no value to them. The minute you die, everybody suddenly is your friend. And I can see that because in the past few months, a lot of friends of mine died, and I can see how suddenly people who never bothered with them are all now concerned about them, going to their Instagram accounts and their Twitter and their Facebook. So basically, I'm doing this so that one day when I'm dead, those people who think they know me, they will realize that they didn't know me. And they didn't know me because they don't watch my videos, or they don't comment, or they don't respond. But anyway, like I said, also, I really appreciate those people who really respond. And it's weird, I don't know any of you. It's random people. A lot of you from Australia, because that's what the stat counter shows. But I'm very thankful. And I hope you enjoyed this video.